Dallas, it is so good seeing you again.
Yeah, it's been a little bit.
It's surreal.
Things have changed.
Right? Since season 1, just being on set and watching, you know what hasn't changed though? The passion, the intensity that you have for what you do, the excellence that you bring to the table as the director. Like, I watched a little bit yesterday of season 3 and just you in your element. And I think it's just incredible. It's beautiful to see you in your element. And I was talking to some of the actors too, and just what you bring as a director actually really impacts everything and changes just even the result. And a large part of why I think The Chosen is what it is today, honestly.
Oh, well, that's very kind. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, our responsibility and my responsibility as the leader of the captain of the ship is to be surrendered and to be a servant leader and all of that. But I also have to bring what God has given me. And so when you come onto our set, or if you're in our writer's room, or if you're in an editing room, you're going to see work. I mean, we're hand to plow. We've got our head down, working very hard and making sure that we justify the faith that our fans have put into us and that God is giving us this to steward. So that's very important. But so there is this combination of surrender and servanthood, but with a lot of crawling on glass, a lot of hard work, a lot of trying to make ourselves even better at our jobs than we were. I want to get better each day.
Yeah, and God honors the spirit of excellence that you operate in, obviously. But the surrender, I think, is why he breathes on what you do.
Sure, that's well put.
Yeah. Talk about, and I talked to you about this early on, but talk about the Chosen's mission. Like, now, here we are, it's a global phenomenon, millions of people. We don't really even have an accurate count, right? Because that's just streams.
Right.
So just imagine how many more there is. Yeah. But what's the Chosen's mission now, Dallas?
Well, honestly, when I think about the mission of The Chosen, I have to balance two things. One, we do have a ministry and a mission and a calling to bring Jesus to the world. I mean, I want to introduce or reinvigorate people's passion for Jesus. Yeah. But at the same time, I can't be responsible for that. I mean, when I sit in front of a blank computer screen, or when I'm working with my co-writers on the scripts, or when I'm on set and we're creating a new scene from scratch, I can't be actually thinking about the viewer overseas. I can't be thinking about trying to please viewers or trying to avoid criticism.
Yeah, that's hard.
I have to be focused on making the best show that I possibly can.
Yeah.
So the mission part of it, yes, I'm doing this because I have a mission to introduce Jesus to as many people as possible. But the number of people, the number of viewers, the level of criticism or praise that it gets, the impact that it has, I can't be focused on that. I just can't. God is going to have to be responsible for that. The people who are spreading the word about it, the ministries that we work with, our distributors, the people whose job it is to market the show. That's who we ultimately rely on. I can't think about the impact or the destination while I'm making the show. So I've just got too much to do in the next few seasons to really worry too much about that. But yes, ultimately, while we're writing, we do want whatever we do to result in someone knowing and loving Jesus more.
I love that. And I've been talking to everyone about this, and who better to talk to than you. I know the Chosen's mission really is to present the authentic Jesus and not to do the converting, right? Because that's something that happens in the heart, and it's us, the pastors and all that go out and help. Who is the authentic Jesus?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I really do, when I read the Gospels, what I see very clearly, and I think we sometimes miss, is I see a Jesus who was extraordinarily intimate and personal. So yes, he spoke to crowds, and that was a part of his ministry. But when he did miracles, and in the key stories that the gospel writers focus on, he had something specific for each person. Even the way he called his disciples was in many ways tailored to their personalities. When he would heal someone, it wasn't just about them being lame, or it wasn't just about them being mute or deaf or blind. He also had something specific to their sin struggle or to their past or their backstory. And so to me, the authentic Jesus is someone who wants a direct and personal relationship with each person. So my job when I'm making the show is to make sure that this isn't just Jesus did a bunch of miracles because they were really beautiful and cool and they are showing off who he was. Jesus was building a relationship with each person that he encountered. And that to me is what we're trying to capture, and that to me is what is relevant today.
Yeah, and you are capturing that, and I almost got emotional as you were saying that, because I'm just so my heart just can explode just to think that Jesus literally is intimately pursuing us
Right.
the way, he meets us where we are. And it's just incredible. And The Chosen does that beautifully. I know the theme of season 3 is "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden." And this is a heavy season, right? For mostly everyone. And, I do ministry with sometimes young people, and I just see that weight even on the young people. Talk about, having that theme in this season and how relevant it is to really minister.
Yeah. It's one thing before you follow Jesus to have burdens that you don't know how to bear. And we struggle, and we're desperate. We're longing to fill that God-shaped hole, even though that may sound like a cliche, but it's true. Then we start following Jesus, and we're like, hey, wait a minute. I still have some problems.
Yeah.
Jesus didn't promise that issues would go away. And even when he was in the Gospels and here on earth, people were saying, well, when are we going to overthrow the Romans? When are we going to we're oppressed. We're occupied.
Yeah.
I have sin struggles. When are they going to go away? And Simon Peter, who was Jesus's most passionate follower, up until his death and resurrection, was still having many sin struggles, including even into the book of Acts. You see him arguing with Paul. I mean, you're still the person, you're still the same human being who struggles after you follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Season 3 really digs into that. Little James, who's disabled.
I was going to say that.
We have a big scene in season 3 where he comes to Jesus and goes, okay, got to ask, you're sending me out to heal others, and I'm not healed? What's the deal there? Why is that? Simon and Eden. Jesus said, I see you, Eden, in season 1. This is a sacrifice for you too, and I know that this is a sacrifice, and I'm here for you. Well, Simon's been gone, and he comes back, and she's like, yeah, I didn't love that you were gone for so long. What about that? What is Jesus going to do for that? And when they struggle and face some significant marital issues, where's Jesus in that? So we really dig into that. And this is going to be a season where some of the hard questions that I think especially young people have are going to get explored.
I was like, as a pastor's wife, amen to that. Yes. I understand.
Yeah, you want to follow. You know what the right thing is, but it doesn't make it easy.
Yeah, it's hard. And I'm sure, that's amazing. Dallas, I got to ask, it's a hard question because I know there's so many examples, but how have you seen just God, the divinity of God kind of intervene while you're doing what you're doing and the excellence that you're doing and bringing the quality? Like, how's that, the supernatural aspect? Have you had moments where you're just like, whoa?
Yeah. I mean, I think on a weekly basis, we are put to, there's 2 Old Testament stories that my wife uses all the time to illustrate kind of what we're going through. One is the Red Sea moment. Yeah. Moses gets to the edge of the Red Sea with the Israelites, and the Egyptians are coming, and they're like, we got nowhere to go. Like, there's nothing. We're either going to run into the water and drown, or we're just going to get captured. Mm-hmm. So what do we do? And the only thing left was for God to do a miracle and part the Red Sea. Yeah. The other Old Testament story that applies to us is the manna. And my wife, Amanda, refers to it as the manna program, that every day we come out and we have our hands outstretched for God's daily manna. And God even told the Israelites, don't store it up, because if you do, I'm going to make it rot. I want you dependent on me every day. So we experience little things pretty much every week where we're brought to a point where I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I've done everything I can. How is this door going to be opened, or the sea going to part? And it just happens so regularly where whatever God ends up doing is so much better than what we could have done. Now, we have stories on our YouTube page of literal miracles.
I love it.
I can't get into all of them now.
No,
but again, we're not doing this in the expectation that every day God's going to do some massive miracle where you can just see the clouds part. It's in little things. It's just in reminding us constantly to surrender and to be listening and to be on the manna program where we're dependent on Him every day.
Yeah, I love that. That's a good reset every day. I love that. So you guys are going to eventually transition and put stuff in more secular platforms and in theaters. How is it doing that, bringing The Chosen to the broader audience?
Well, yeah, I mean, the show right now is accessible to anybody. I mean, you can see it on multiple platforms, and then, of course, it's for free on our app. The key is, how do you convince people who have certain biases against this type of entertainment and assume what it's going to be? How do you convince them that this is worth checking out? Now, what's interesting is we have that battle even just within the faith-based community, who have
Yes.
certain biases, whether they've heard the show is going to not be biblical,
Oh,
or whether they've heard the show isn't going to be any good. So we're used to that challenge. It's just we have the same challenge now, broadening our scope and convincing people who might not be
Yeah.
of a traditional faith or might not be regular churchgoers. This is a show worth watching in the same way that I, as a person of faith, watch shows that aren't faith-based all the time,
Right.
and that come from a different worldview, but that I still just enjoy them as a regular show. So we're not going to do anything different. We don't change the show. We don't change the message. But sometimes the marketing of it can be tailored
Yeah.
to a different people group, and that's just us trying to make sure that we are, as Paul said, speaking the language of where we're at. Paul changed kind of the way he approached things, dependent on the region that he was in, and we want to apply that same thing.
Love it. Thank you so much, Dallas.
Thanks
That's
for having me
so
on.
good.